Hey everyone, welcome to Reality TV News Update, the place where we bring you the latest updates, fun moments, and behind the scenes stories you won't want to miss. The house of Big Brother 27 is boiling over. New moves in power, shattered trust, and options for eviction in the upcoming week 11. Vince Panaro is the new head of household HOH. His nominations of Eva Pearl and Keanu Soto have left the house divided. Vince's choice matters more than ever. Only 5 players remain: Morgan Pope, Ashley Hollis, Keanu Soto, Eva Pearl, and Vince himself. Who can advance to the final stage and who will exit next is determined by this moment's actions. Spoilers for Big Brother 27, HOH nominations, and POV reactions. This is Vince's 4th HOH victory of the season. He put Keanu and Eva on the block. Eva has faced the block 3 times, all under Vince's reign. Keanu has been nominated a record 8 times this season. That makes him the most vulnerable player left. Morgan claimed the power of Veto POV. She was able to alter Vince's nominations after winning. However, she might decide not to use it. If she keeps the nominations intact, Eva and Keanu remain at risk. Keanu feels betrayed. He thought Vince had promised to target Morgan instead. His trust in Vince has broken. He admitted he trusted too much and now regrets it. Eva, meanwhile, sees herself as Vince's repeated target. The stress is high for both. Ashley is quietly working angles. She and Eva discuss scenarios if the veto were used. Both hope a shift could save them. But if Morgan keeps the veto unused, the week may end with Keanu or Eva walking out the door. Game tensions and endgame strategy. With only days until eviction, emotions are raw. Keanu has said he will not support Vince in a final vote if Vince sends him out. Every decision now relies heavily on votes cast by juries. Players are starting to think less about survival and more about how they look to the jury. Ashley could take Morgan's place if he uses the veto. That would put her social ties in jeopardy and force Vince to make a harder decision. If she avoids the block, she could slip closer to the endgame without as much blood on her hands. The stress is showing. According to industry updates, late-game Big Brother weeks always test loyalty. Trust is nearly gone this week. House guests are realizing every wrong step could cost them a spot in the finale. Big Brother 27's 11th week could be the season's turning point. The eviction decision will shape the final stretch. Fans are watching closely to see who cracks under pressure and who adapts with smart play. The Big Brother 27 house is heating up in week 11, where heads of household, nominations, the power of veto, and shifting loyalties are pushing house guests to their emotional limits. Here's everything we know so far, including who's vulnerable, who's trusting too much, and what could happen as the eviction looms. Vince secures HOH, targets Eva and Keanu. Vince Panaro has claimed the head of household HOH title for week 11, his 4th HOH win this season. With just 5 house guests remaining: Morgan Pope, Ashley Hollis, Keanu Soto, Eva Pearl, Vince, the decisions are now more consequential than ever. Vince nominated Keanu and Eva for eviction. For Eva, it's getting repetitive. This is her 3rd time on the block, all under Vince's HOH. Keanu, on the other hand, has now been nominated a record-setting 8 times this season. Relationships have been shaken up and serious trust issues have arisen as a result of these nominations. Power of Veto POV winner and fallout. The live feeds revealed that Morgan won the power of Veto POV in week 11, her win potentially upending the nominations. However, Morgan has indicated she may opt not to use the veto. If that holds, then Keanu and Eva remain on the block as Vince originally nominated them. Trust, regret, and strategy. House guests react. Keanu is in disarray. He believed Vince had promised to backdoor Morgan, but Vince instead nominated Keanu and Eva. Keanu has expressed feeling betrayed and regrets trusting Vince to the very end, admitting that he underestimated how deceit plays out late in the game. Other players are scrambling behind the scenes. Ashley and Eva are discussing POV win scenarios as their safest route. Ashley said if either wins POV, they both could benefit, especially if nominations shift. Meanwhile, moody strategic conversations and tension around loyalty are everywhere, especially considering how often names have been stirred up in these late-game weeks. What is likely to take place during the eviction if Morgan keeps the nominations intact? Then either Keanu or Ava will be evicted. Keanu may suffer as a result of his trust issues, particularly given that decisions are increasingly driven by emotions. But if Morgan uses the POV, Vince would need to nominate a replacement. Ashley could be the replacement in one of the discussed scenarios if Keanu is saved. Given the stakes of jury votes and final positioning, house guests are weighing not just who they want gone, but who they can vote for in the end. Keanu has even said he wouldn't vote for Vince in a final if Vince sends him to the jury. Why this week matters. With fewer players, each competition, HOH, POV, and each nomination carries an outsized consequence. Alliances that worked before are under stress. Trust is being tested. People are making up for mistakes they made earlier in the season. Week 11 isn't just about staying. It could define who enters the final stretch in a position of strength. This week's emotional fallout suggests that players are beginning to play with the end in mind. Big Brother 27 Week 11 spoilers. What to watch for? Will Morgan use her POV or keep the noms as they are? If nominations shift, who gets the replacement nomination? And what logic will justify it? How much does jury concern influence voting behavior now, especially with trust all but shattered? Will Keanu's regrets change how strongly he plays going forward or damage his social bonds beyond repair? Want more Big Brother 27 updates? Stay tuned for live feeds recaps, eviction results, and next week's HOH decisions. This week, Vince Panaro became the new head of household on Big Brother 27, and he has two major targets in mind. The stakes are extremely high with only 5 guests remaining at the house. Here's what went down during Week 11 of BB 27, featuring nominations, strategy, and the showmance everyone's talking about. Vince takes HOH in an endurance battle. In a grueling endurance competition that eliminated contestants as they lost grip, Vince outlasted Keanu, Ashley, and Ava to win HOH for Week 11. Morgan was ineligible since she'd been the outgoing HOH. Nominations. Keanu and Ava sent to the block. Once in power, Vince made his move. He nominated Keanu Soto and Ava Pearl for eviction. Keanu is clearly the primary target. Yes, he was blindsided. Ashley Hollis is sitting next to the chopping block, too. If either Keanu or Ava wins the power of veto, Ashley stands as the likely replacement nominee. Confessions, tension, and a showmance while Vince plays his game. His relationship with Morgan Pope is turning many heads. The two are spending HOH nights together, sharing intimate, cryptic conversations, including talk of options. Morgan even mentioned finding condoms in both the HOH room and storage, Trojans that Jimmy Hegarty reportedly opened, allegedly to stir the pot. Even more telling, Vince mentioned he'd have to tell Morgan something big in October that she might not like. And though Morgan seems concerned about option 1 being impossible, likely due to Vince's real-world girlfriend Kelsey, their relationship is now clearly more than strategic. What's next? Veto, eviction, and path to the finale. The power of veto competition is looming, and Keanu's safety might depend on it. If the veto shakes things up, Ashley could be thrown back into the danger zone. Replacements could involve someone like Morgan, depending on what alliances survive. Eviction night has weight this week. Moves made now could heavily influence who reaches Final 3 or even Final 2. Vince's showmanship with Morgan could either improve his social standing or make him a major target. Why it matters for Big Brother 27. This HOH reign may mark the turning point of the season. With only a few days to go until the end, every choice has big repercussions. Vince's power this week, both in the competitions and in personal alliances, could shift the balance. As the house braces for drama, one question looms. Can Vince survive this HOH without his showmance collapsing his game? Conclusion. The Big Brother 27 spoilers for Week 11 indicate that Vince Panaro is in charge as HOH, that Keanu and Ava are the nominees, and that Ashley might be next on the block if the veto occurs. Add the Morgan-Vince relationship to the mix, and you've got a perfect storm.